In our neck of the woods, you're watching Let's Talk. I'm your host, Andy Asher. On today's show, I think if you called it eclectic, it would describe things pretty well. And we are going to hear from Shaun Tomson. He is a world champion surfer from South Africa. At close to 70, he lives with his wife in Santa Barbara. He has a lot to talk about.
There's never any fear. It's just absolute aggression and commitment.
From tragedy to the top of the world, he talks about the code method, his system he developed, which stems from his decades of surfing experience and personal tragedy. It's a simple system to find purpose in everyday life. We'll also hear from David Essel, who parlayed his worldwide reputation into the world of athletes and athletics as a mental success counselor.
And we're finally starting to see a change, but I was part of that group. I didn't want to admit that I needed help. And you know, Andy, because of people like you who are willing to expose the need for mental health help in America today, we are having inroads like we've never seen before.
He has some profound ideas as the world commemorates the month of May as Mental Health Month. David has helped thousands of people from around the world achieve their greatest goals in every area of life. Whenever I am at the checkout stand at Safeway, I see these magazines there and I can't keep my eyes off of them. I look at this, Kevin Costner, $250 million divorce. That got my attention. All I could do is find out more from my previous searches. Kevin Costner has been married to his wife, Christine Baumgartner, since 2004. As far as I know, they've not announced any plans for divorce, but Star Magazine here says otherwise. And talking about divorces, Gisele Bündchen, she was married to football star Tom Brady. She is a Brazilian model and actress. She's been married since 2009. They have 2 children. We'll pick up more on that one on our next show. And let us turn to surfing. I am a huge fan, even though I can barely get up on a surfboard. I love the sport. And when I got a chance to speak to a world champion surfer, I had to find out more. Shaun Tomson is one of the top 10 greatest surfers of all time. Has a new book out, Overcoming Life's Obstacles, drawing on personal pain in life, gaining strength acquired as a sports leader. Just give me a sense of what it feels like the moments before you decide to engage in a big wave. I mean, is there a fear? Is there excitement, terror, calm? What is it?
You know, it depends on the situation. For instance, I've found when I'm surfing a contest in big waves, there's never any trepidation, there's never any fear. It's just absolute aggression and commitment. So you consciously banish the fear. So it can be done.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in a free surfing situation, when you're just out there enjoying yourself, you know, you might have this moment of hesitation, you might have this moment when you second guess yourself. But it's certainly, you are able to control fear with your mind. And I've really, really found that out. You know, fear is the sort of anxiety about something going wrong, about catching a wipeout. And when you commit, absolutely, unequivocally, it banishes the fear. You know, I think of like riding at the Banzai Pipeline, the most dangerous wave in the world. And you know, you sit there and you're waiting for your wave, and there's a lot of other surfers in the water who might be jockeying for position, because you don't sit in like an ordered line and that wave comes to you and you start paddling for it. And that moment when you paddle, that's that moment of absolute commitment. You cannot have any hesitation or any trepidation or any fear. You've just got to paddle, paddle, paddle. And I know the first time I rode there, I was scared, I was frightened, I was 15 years old. But I found that what you had to do, and I wrote about it when I wrote this little code called Surface Code, I will take the drop with commitment. And it's very much that metaphor for no matter what you do in life, you want to be successful, you got to commit. And when I made this film, a number of years ago and co-produced it and co-wrote it. It was called Busting Down the Door. It's very much about that metaphor as well. How do you be successful? You've got to bust down that door. You've got to bust down that fear barrier.
Sean Thompson put the code method to the test upon the loss of his son. He's learned to ride the waves of daily existence and is eager to share the inspiring power he has gained on his personal path with others who are looking to live a better life and get more out of life. And finally, May is Mental Health Month. David Essel has helped thousands of people from around the world achieve their greatest goals in every area of life. Well, you know, there is such a sense of shame about mental health problems. So since you're so personally affected by it, you can probably be a great person to ask about that.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. As men, forget about it. I mean, now it's changing, Andy, but for men back, up until really about 2015 is when we started seeing more men come into our clinical practice with depression, anxiety, PTSD, addiction, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, everything. But men have been told that to get strong, to pull up your bootstraps, all those kind of nonsensical statements. And we're finally starting to see a change. But I was part of that group. I didn't want to admit that I needed help. And Andy, because of people like you who are willing to expose the need for mental health help in America today, we are having inroads like we've never seen before.
I was going to ask you that. Is a situation better?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you some statistics that don't sound good, but at the end, I'll tell you why they're good. The American Psychological Association about 6 months ago came out with a massive survey. 80% of Americans said that they have no idea how to handle the emotional stress of the pandemic, the political insanity, the racial division, the job losses, the income losses. Now this is the American Psychological Association massive survey. 80% of us don't know how to handle the stress that we've been put in, especially over the last 4 years with the pandemic. Now, because of that survey, more and more people started to realize, okay, it's not abnormal to have mental health challenges. 80% of us are struggling. And that statistic right there, Andy, started to open up floodgates for men and women alike to say, okay, I'm not alone. There's millions of people around me struggling too. Let me get help.
That's today's show. I want to thank you for supporting the show. If you like it or learn something new, I want to tell you 3 ways you can support the show and keep Let's Talk going. And number 1, get yourself subscribed every week. I am bringing on inspirational guests who can teach or have something interesting to share. So take a moment to hit that subscribe button. And number 2, this is the ultimate way to support Let's Talk, and it takes less than a minute. You can write something short and sweet, like I love the show. It has changed your life, or something you learned from it. I am not exaggerating that I read reviews every single day, and every single one, whether short or long, it means everything to me. And the more reviews means the higher we rank in all those algorithms, which means bigger guests. So take a minute to leave a review. And 3, share the show with your friends. Just hit that share button. We live stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I am eternally grateful, and thank you so much for supporting Let's Talk about productivity, positivity, and happiness.